Entering the Mayo Experience.
That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience. WGC St. Jude. Sorry, FedEx St. Jude. It's a whole lot going on here in the title. Picks, predictions, preview, one and done bets. We got it all for you. A recap of the British Open. Maybe some Barracuda talk towards the end. It's all here. Geoff Fienberg, also here. What's up? Sign in your name? Sign in your scorecard?
I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah, I'm a little weathered, but we're good.
All right. Well, you gather yourself. I'm going to let the people know how they can get into some draws for 20 DK bucks. How about that?
Sounds great.
Sounds good. All right. If you want to get into a draw for 20 DK bucks, myriad of ways to do so. Smash the like button for the episode. Leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section. And give me a winner for the WGC FedEx St. Jude. All right. That's one, the invitational. But no longer a classic. It is now an invitational. We're up to 1,900 iTunes reviews, so let's get that up to 2,000, all right? So 5-star reviews, something nice, something you like about the show. Nothing negative in there. Like, no 1 stars. We want 5 stars. Then leave your DraftKings handle. Boom, you're in a draw. Follow me on Instagram at the PME. See a golf post or a football post. Like it. Leave your DraftKings handle after you follow, and boom, you're in the draw for 20 DK bucks. Last week's winners of 20 DK bucks. I gave over $1,000 away on last week's show because, it's the last major of the season. But this week's winners already been credited of 20 DK dollars. Aussie to Tommy Jack. It's a long one to log in with. Bulldog P71, Stardate KCHS Golf, Smitty Joe 5, and Barkleboo were the winners of 20 DK dollars. You want to talk British Open?
Let's go.
Although it was not a fun week for me in terms of the whole betting scene, I did scale back what I did. The Danny Willett top 8 kind of helped mitigate some of the huge loss. Still lost, but mitigated some of the losses.
Held on.
What's that?
Held on.
He held on there at the very end. Yeah,
held on.
Needed some help along the way, but everyone was just flying off the leaderboard. Especially everyone that I had being like, "Oh, I wonder if Ben Ann can sneak into the top 20." Like he gone. That was no fun. And I made all those to make the cut and to miss the cut parlays. But like Razor Ramon says about the Chicas, they just for fun, man. I don't really like that. Those are just banked losses. And I won the big one at the Masters, so I don't really care about that. But it was interesting. I'm just shocked Lowry just played so well the entire time. Like, if I'm not going to win, I'm kind of glad he won. It would have been nice to see Tommy come back and win, I guess, just because we love Tommy so much. But you really, unless Rory won or G-Mac won or somehow Darren Clark was like smoking cigs walking up the 72nd hole going for a win, like the story couldn't have turned out better. And I went back and read my column from last week and I played all those trends like, the top 10s coming in over their last 5 starts. I basically bet everyone except for Shane Lowry who was on that list. So I feel like an idiot.
I didn't really have much to say about Lowry. I'll own the fact I didn't believe he had outright winner in him.
No, neither
so
did I.
that's why, in the purpose of this show, the number wasn't high enough to like catch my eye to think, to score big on in each way. But the books knew because he was in the mid 60s, right?
He was either like 50, 55, 66, depending on where you were at.
Yeah.
But even to look at his wins, like
Abu Dhabi.
He won Abu Dhabi. He won
Bridgestone.
WGC. He won the Irish Open as an amateur. Like, those are pretty good wins. Now he has this one. Like, he competes on hard courses against good fields, and we just kind of forgot about him.
Absolutely. And 2 wins in the calendar year. Takes a special player to do that. If you look who sort of has that.
Kuchar, Brooks.
It's a very elite group. Tiger, Molinari.
Tiger doesn't have it.
In like a year. He's got the Tour Championship and the Masters.
Well,
I'm just saying, I said calendar.
Well, this isn't the calendar year. The calendar year starts in 2019.
No, I meant like in the year from the win.
Okay.
Like that's sort of just what I'm going with. Within a year span, they have 2 wins.
Okay.
I don't know, make that what you would. Rory, I don't know if you said him, but it's a very like a very small group of players. And you look who's in it. I think Kevin Na's in it. But for the most part, it's a very elite group. All the credit to him. I'm a Tommy guy. Was hoping Tommy was going to catch him. But you said it. If it wasn't going to be someone I had, I mean, what a great win. I think the only take I really had or anything through all the days of even doing anything, whether it be interviews, the only time he came up was I was asked whether I liked him or McDowell more in DraftKings because they were the same price.
Okay, I didn't use either of them.
And I was like, no, I'm very pro Lowry in that regard. But again, it was kind of off my radar because I didn't think the outright was coming. but a great year. I think the majors presented Tiger, which is a forever kind of moment, and we'll see. Brooks cements himself as an alpha, and then we get 2 opens with all around good guys, great stories winning that are special wins in their own right. It was frustrating from a Tommy's perspective in that you wish you had a bit of a killer in those like first 3 holes, 4 holes, because it could have been one stroke
on the first hole. The first hole was the entire day when Lowry saves his bogey and Tommy misses
a 6-footer,
and Tommy misses the birdie putt. Like
Tommy's
if that goes the other way, if Lowry pushes it, and Tommy makes it, it's down to 1 and it's game on. But after that, it was basically over.
No, it was. I would give Tommy almost a reprieve to 2 where he missed a short birdie putt also.
We got to make them putts, Tommy.
Which would have gotten it to 2. Like to even like, yes, 1 could have been an ultimate like, wow, it's freaking on and on, because Tommy had about a 7-8 footer for birdie. Shane-O had about a 6-footer for bogey. That's like us. First, like that's how I play golf. 6-footer for bogey. I got to make those to play bogey golf. I can, double bogeys are bad. I usually miss them. Like most of us probably watching. So Tommy couldn't make that. Then he had one inside 10 feet, I want to say, on 2 and couldn't make it. And even though it wouldn't have been the big swing from 1, to have been able to chipped away like Andy Dufresne on 1 and chipped away like Andy Dufresne on 2, could have been a different day. But all the credit to Shane and Tommy. And I want to say the shirts that Tommy and Finau were wearing for the most part, I think they look really ugly on TV, but in person, I have a feeling those are really nice shirts.
Are they sponsored by the upcoming HBO series Watchmen? They're the Rorschach shirts?
No. I think they're like, from a distance, it's hard to tell, but I think it's like golfers and like greens and golf flags, but it was like a very hard... On TV, I don't think the shirt's translated.
Yeah, it looked like the ink. It looked like the ink blot shirt.
Yeah, but on closer inspection, those are like real things, not ink blots.
Best scoring average now, as we look back, and we'll have to remember this heading into next year. Do you know who has the best scoring average at the British Open over the past 3-4 years? Tony Finau.
Yeah, he's a mutter.
Plays like garbage coming in. I had basically written him off.
Yeah. But his number got back to like the 80s, and there was a nice each way. I think some people could have cashed.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, wasn't me, but
on him, yeah, nice little mutter turns it on, and I guess now we're all we'll see. Hopefully, maybe we can win something big. There's very few tournaments left, and I've identified players who are going to win. So it's kind of hard for me to get off
There's really 4 tournaments left, because the Tour Championship's going to be an absolute shit show with the people starting at like the different levels.
Are we even going to do a show?
I don't know. I don't even know.
Are the books even going to do?
I don't know how draft.
I'm asking.
I don't know how DraftKings is going to work. I don't know how betting is going to work. Like, I just have no idea how that plays itself. And I guess 5 tournaments because the Barracuda.
The books might actually do 2 separate things. They'll have the built-in live, like it'll almost be a live pre-tournament set with scores.
Okay.
Do you feel what I'm saying?
Sure.
Well, yes or no?
Yeah.
And then they'll probably do someone like total scores to par.
That's just going to be hard to track the entire week.
No, wouldn't. Everyone will play 4 rounds.
Yeah, but I mean, when we look at the scoreboard, the scoreboard won't translate that to us. You have to
then they're
rig
just
those
gonna
up.
make
It'll be like old fantasy football when you're playing on paper that you have to go and like look at the scores, write them down next to each other.
So then essentially the pre-betting board will be like we're betting after the first round.
I guess so. I said, I don't know how it's going to go.
That's what I think they're going to do. They can make a live odds after the first round. They could certainly just do that. That's my guess. That's what I think we're getting.
Let's not think about that for now.
Too bad Brooks doesn't practice.
Well, this is the whole thing. Like when we talk about, Spieth can get up there and really rally because he's making every single putt. Like he didn't. I don't think he had a fairway over 72 holes. But he made every single putt. Brooks went the other way. It was a lot like Patrick Reed the first 2 days. Like Reed should have been 6 under after the first round. He must have missed, I don't know, 7 putts inside 10 feet. And Brooks just missed them. We're used to Brooks making all those putts, but when you go look at those like regular tournaments, where does Brooks usually falter? It's not usually off the tee. It's not usually with his irons. It's he has a bad putting week. It just turned out he finally had a bad putting week in a major, and he still came fucking 4th.
Yeah. No, he's the man. He's Godzilla. He is alpha. But he also, if he's going to say the things that he says, like, you can snicker at him when it doesn't work. And by not working, he finishes in 4th. That being said, I'm not really buying the whole like not caring thing. And I think like, again, we've just had a major. He didn't win it. Now that's been 2 in a row. He didn't win. And I know there's a world where people think it's impossible he won't win the Masters, but let's just...
Who thinks that?
Everybody.
He's the favorite. He's now the favorite. So he's got to win. Favorites always win.
Okay.
That's what I heard.
Sorry, you're just... wasn't prepared.
I am waiting to... I want to troll you all day now that I see how aggravated you get for trolls. That really cracked me up, by the way.
No, I don't know.
Why do you give trolls the peace of mind? Because in your scenario... On Twitter,
I don't want to talk about this. Where are we going now?
Because I want to continue to troll you. You have one of two options. You're either dealing with like a mentally deranged person, someone who's actively trolling you, or someone who's like slow. There's no upside to this whatsoever. It's like me taking Chan Kim on my DraftKings team. There was no upside. It was just stupid.
I wasn't gonna. Yeah, I guess. So we found out for ourselves. Bad epic miscalculations.
It cracked me up.
So on that, so let's just pretend we're the 250 days or so from now, and Brooks didn't win the Masters.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he'll like start caring about other events then?
I guess so. Like it's so strange. A lot of it, I think Brooks underrated. Like is very good at branding himself. Like that's why he did that like body issue and like his whole like lack of caring. He's sort of like a more charismatic Dustin Johnson. Because Dustin doesn't say either way whether he cares or doesn't care, but it always seems like he doesn't care.
No, trust me, he's closer to Dustin. I don't think he's ever going to be a guy that browbeats like 3 bags of balls per club. Like
he's not going to be VJ on the range.
Yeah,
after he's missed,
Bryson.
Or who was it who was on the range at the British? It was Jimenez. Jimenez was on the range at the British Open. Like after,
well, he's got to tune up for the Senor.
The Senor Open,
the
exactly.
Senor Open.
But like VJ used to do that too. If he ever missed a cut, he'd stick around for the 2 days and like continue to practice the entire time.
And
Brooks just wants to fucking chill. He has 4 majors. What does he care?
He's the freaking man. But again, you're right. He kind of like misguided. Listen, I like everybody. There are so many guys that we can talk about or that are, there's over 250, 300 guys in this like hemisphere of the 2 tours and more. I love when everyone shows like any part of themselves, like good or bad. So like club throwing or like anything. I'm into any kind of emotion, whether it be like saying I don't care, golf, it's not that hard, like those types of things. And like to be the completely other, side of that. And one of the guys that are like incredibly introspective and, can ramble about all sorts of things. I like them all. But I don't buy the I don't care thing. I don't buy it. I'll never buy it.
Well, we'll see if he cares or not. Because if I was organizing the FedEx St. Jude Invitational, the WGC, first round pairing is definitely Brooks and JB Holmes again. Is there anything people enjoyed more than JB Holmes basically shooting 90? Because I relished it. It was fantastic.
I want to applaud Brooks in what he's doing in his war on slow play.
Yeah, that's good for all of us.
Yes, because, and I don't know who said it, but I'm paraphrasing from something I read. He almost feels like he has to take it on himself because the people in charge are clearly doing absolutely nothing. It's not like he is saying things and they're taking what he's saying and then they're making efforts to improve it. No one is doing anything. So it's nice that we have the ultimate alpha on tour sort of making this his thing. I got no problems with that. I like it a lot.
I like how he described JB. He's like, JB's not even a slow player. It's just he doesn't begin to prepare for a shot until it's his turn.
I got a buddy who does that.
That's ridiculous.
It is infuriating. It is infuriating because I am a grip it and rip it like guy.
Is your friend a professional golfer?
No.
Then there's absolutely no. At least with JB, there's like millions of dollars on the line. With your friend, he's just being an asshole.
No, it's just like, I don't know, his turn. I completely agree. Like your turn, everything but pretty much approaching the ball and hitting it, like at least like 45% of your routine you can begin before it's your turn.
Like Brooks said, JB didn't even have his glove on until it was his turn to shoot.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like there's a lot of parts of the routine that should easily be happening on all levels of golf. So I'm happy for Brooks. I'm happy he's putting that on his mantle. I think I don't know, he could probably win this week.
Yeah,
I think he cares. I think he cares way more than he leads on. I'll go as far to say, and I could be dead wrong, I think the I don't care thing is just a defense mechanism.
I think it's branding. He's a cool golfer. He doesn't care.
Yeah, I don't know. Just
he wants to go, party and hang out with his babe.
When you are elite like that, you can turn that into pure branding. Just like Kawhi says, I'm a fun guy, like at a press conference in September. Don't believe me, I'm a fun guy. And all of a sudden, it's like his brand and a whole T-shirt. Brooke, I don't know, whoever it is, I don't care.
Do you think
golf's not that hard like Nike T-shirts? Sure, I don't know.
Do you think that Brooks ends up with one of these like storied careers, 10 majors kind of thing over the next 15 years? Or is he Patty Harrington?
I'm not.
Because Harrington had this run too, and people completely forget that.
Lots of guys have had this run.
No, people, it's basically like those two.
Rory didn't have a run like this?
Yeah, but Rory's been consistently, like, Harrington won 3
you wouldn't
majors.
Even call Spieth's run?
Spieth won 3 majors over the course of what, like 4 years? Harrington won 3 of 6.
Okay, so you're right. Sorry. Well, you're right. It's a rarefied air.
But I mean, I wasn't doing golf commentary at the time. I was much younger. I didn't pay attention the same way. But were people having the exact same conversations? Like, oh my God, Brooks could break the majors record. Were people saying that about Patty Harrington? Or is it because vintage Tiger was still around at that time? People were like, wow, that's weird that Tiger's not winning and this other guy's winning.
I'm just like dumb enough to believe, like sitting here doing this every week, a show, talking about it before and after the fact, and then spending 3+ days watching these tournaments. Like, I fail to believe he is that much better than the other guys like around him. I'm obviously being proven wrong. There's great money to be made, even in the majors he doesn't win. You take every matchup against the elites. He's like a Pick'em versus John Rahm. He's laying like 5 cents to Dustin's 15 cents. Rory, he's probably an underdog. Cash it. I'm not doubting there's something special about him, and I'm not doubting I'd rather bet him in, like you say it all the time. I don't believe the whole not care thing, but I do agree. I'd probably rather bet him at 9 or 10 to 1 at a major than 7 to 1 at a Byron Nelson. I do agree with that. I don't know.
Which is funny because that goes in the face of logic.
Completely. And I will say the fact that we can even have this conversation speaks to the absurdity of the achievement.
Yes.
Right? Like that, just like the fact that this conversation can happen speaks to how crazy the achievement is and how special it is and how amazing he is. Something I didn't want to paraphrase. Cooley had an interesting point that I could.
And picked the winner. He had Shane Lowry.
Great for him.
Shout out, Ben.
Awesome. Because he'd been real close too. I know he was on Bryson with me. And
who wasn't on Bryson at the 3M? That was horrible. We all were on Bryson.
This is from Ben's Twitter. Shouldn't need saying, but Koepka's achievements remain stupendous. I do wonder, though. We've got 250 days or something until the next tournament he says he cares about. A lot of pressure on 4 weeks per year if he's going to fully commit to the idea he has created for himself as a golfer.
Again, I think that part of this is like a troll job. Part of it is an act because he wants us to view him in a certain way. And maybe that's good for, like I said, his brand, for sales, for his popularity. I don't know. But
he is an alpha.
It may be more perceived pressure that other people think that he has. And maybe he's just like, I show up to every tournament and do exactly the same thing. I don't really care.
Also, you see, there's a lot of like scripting that goes on that like everyone shares in that Nike orbit. No one else is alpha enough to wear that hat he was wearing at the U.S. Open.
That's true.
Nobody. You didn't see it on someone else's head on a different day or a different week. I don't know what that means. I'm just like, it's another small layer of like, this guy's he's freaking ghosting Tiger. He's a king.
That is a vintage Tiger move, though.
But he is he is the king. He's the king.
Tiger, Rory's press conference after missing the cut. It's quite nice.
Love it. Not shocked at all. We saw it watching that. It was fun. It would have been really fun to have seen him make it, but it was almost cool that like the cut sweat just sort of became a Rory sweat because it did have a special, we could sense the importance of it. We knew the importance of it for 8 months, 5 years.
Too
to
much
some
pressure.
people.
It all manifested itself day one. Like just missing that like 3-inch putt on 16 round one. Like that's the difference between him playing the weekend and not. Not to say that he was going to come back and win because he wasn't.
And it was a great call, like to the Lowry, and I'm sure people that wrote him up, like for Rory dealing with like the mountainous of pressure, and McDowell sort of being the face of a lot of it.
Lowry.
Lowry's got to be like the Gaelic bear, as like Cam would call him.
Lowry's very Cam-esque.
Yeah.
And yeah, just Tiger. I felt stupid because I played all these like to miss the cut parlays and Tiger was on all of them. Yet I didn't bet Tiger 3-1 to miss the cut. I feel like an idiot. Just should have played the Tiger Phil to miss the cut parlay. I think it would have paid like 7-1. Dumb, Jeffrey. Okay. Dumb.
Don't get me wrong. I just want to backtrack. I think Brooks is Godzilla. I just want him to win a couple of non-majors so people can just drop it. That's all.
And you want to win your bet that you made.
Oh, I'm not even worried about that. That's like free.
You're now talking like Tim. It's not free by any means.
It's free.
Okay.
Like worst case, I'll push.
There was no push rules in there. Push is a tie.
Yeah, push is a tie. One more thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
Well, two, because I'll just take your take on coverage.
The coverage when it like overnight, like when I was watching
great.
From
Was
1
the
a.m.
best.
till 5 a.m. was amazing.
Always.
But like even on, and I mean, a lot of this is selfish reasons. And Justin Ray and I talked about this when we did the show together, that he said that NBC was committed to showing as many shots as possible. CBS plays more narrative, that they want to build a story with their TV coverage. But it felt like NBC took the page from CBS, was like, we're playing pure narrative here. Like there was a lot of just nothing happening, especially on Sunday when we could have seen Justin Thomas hit a few shots. Henrik Stenson hit a few shots. I know people weren't playing well, and if people were making more birdies, they would have cut to them.
I don't think, we didn't get enough of like Westwood and
Willett.
Willett.
We got no Willett.
Once they like hit 14. Like we didn't need it. I agree.
And I was sitting there on the bad app being like, is Willett going to par 18? Because I need him to par 18 here. Because he went like bogey, birdie, bogey, bogey, then par to end. I was like, I need to see what he's doing here.
To be blind to the tracking, I want to live these like Jordan Spieth Magic Bean escapes. I want to know, even though like you could write the move, it's the same insert script from every hole, right? Hosel off the fairway, like a layup or gets it greenside, but in a horrible position.
Yeah, hits an iron at a fescue that goes like 3 inches
like
off
there's
the green.
literally only two options, like to create the path to his outcome on holes. But I still want to know how they're occurring.
You like to hate watch it.
I didn't really digest it, but Xander's angry. Do you know all this?
Yeah, the Xander driver, it was like one
and
something.
now it's like a manufacturer on like everyone is sort of like chirping from
I
different...
agree with him though, because he said that like this should be on like the providers of like it should be on the manufacturers in order to like give me a driver that's regulation. Like what happened? He's like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Like I put it in my bag, I assume it's good.
Sort of like in NASCAR. Like I don't know how it works, but like it's on manufacture. I don't know. Maybe.
But the manufacturers like own the cars. I think in NASCAR. I don't really know.
Anyway, let's drop any NASCAR.
But like apparently Xander was sick the entire week too. He had like a viral infection or something. Really manifested itself on Sunday.
Yeah,
that wasn't great.
No
one was really great on Sunday. Lowry had the most impressive round on Sunday. The fact that he was like one over.
Yeah, the broadcast mentioned no one in the last like 14 groups was under par.
Remember when Tim said that the RNA would never, ever adjust the tee times to accommodate the weather or TV? And a cursed. Right into existence.
Yes. The thing about Xander is he has some boomer bust in him because I've seen him many times mention a boomer bust or maybe a bit of Brooks in him to say this, but when he's like out of it, once he like realizes like I can't get to the winner, whether that be on a Friday night or a Saturday afternoon or Sunday at 2:00 when he's out there, he like says he checks out. Doesn't count pennies. Doesn't have to, but he just checks out. Like he's there to win.
I like it.
So,
I like that mentality.
Yeah, no, he's a killer, and we're in killer no cut season. So I'm sure
that's Xander season.
we'll be talking about it a lot. But there are, I'm not the only one. He's on a short list of guys that there's only like 4 events left, and I've got 3 winners. So I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Well, let me get into people who actually won. So it wasn't you and I who were winners this weekend, but members of FantasyNational.com, you, the people out there, viewers and listeners of the Pat Mayo Experience, good week. No millionaire viewer of the show this year. Maybe they're out there and they just never told me about it, but we had some big wins. We had like a 250K win, a few 100K wins, but no one won the Millionaire Maker. That's disappointing. But Sweetie Boy Supreme hit Lowry on the outright and turned $171 into $1,380.
Awesome.
Jeff Delval also hit Shane Lowry outright. Nick Fuller, he gave a special shout out to Fantasy National on this one. Turned $31 into $181 for the Barbasol just by like running his model, and just he said it took him like 5 minutes to just input lineups, and he was a winner for the Barbasol. Shout out Wiley too, who was there like not getting his open picks.
I love golf so much, so I got nothing.
Was it Herman or was it? Yeah, it was Herman.
Herman. I got nothing but love for Wiley and his adopting
That's
of
his event.
the Barbasol.
That's his Masters.
I got and when you were weathered or beaten down, like the hardcores at like 4:00, there was the Barbasol for you on the weekend if you needed it. And oh my God, that whole thing you were referring to about before.
Yeah, the
about
Herman
trolling
thing.
me.
Did people forget that? So the whole story with Jim Herman and Trump, just to throw it out, is Trump. Herman used to be a pro at one of the Trump courses.
Trump resorts.
Trump paid for him to go back and become a pro and go on the mini tours. And when he won Houston like 3-4 years ago, he thanked Trump.
Trump's his guy.
Yeah.
Trump is his sugar daddy. Trump, he worked at the shop, and I would play probably rounds of Trump. I was like, "You're really good. Go be a pro."
Yeah, I'll fund you.
Yeah, Trump did it, and it was like good for like Trump brands before he was like the brand was being the president. But like it was a cool like story that was like even people. That wasn't like a hated thing that it can be now because there's such a
Like there was nothing political about it at the time. He gave Herman money to like fund his career so he could go have a shot at being a pro, and now he's won on tour twice. It's pretty awesome.
It's an awesome story. And so, but that whole thing you were talking about me being trolled, it all started because I sent out a tweet that was obviously a joke to anyone that knew the backstory, saying like, I'm waiting on the Trump tweet saying that that Jim Herman's win this week was like the greatest win in golf this week. He's their champion golfer of the year. Because obviously, like the joke being anything in Trump's orbit is the best, is the greatest. Jim Herman clearly in the Trump orbit wins. Therefore, his Barbasol win greater than champion golfer of the year.
I got it. I thought it was funny.
Turned into like me being called like a Clinton like.
Oh
I don't know how. Whatever. Let's. Why isn't Ricky here? You got more people to thank.
I got more people. So we just cracked the surface, the tip of the iceberg, just the tip, Jeff, of the winners. We got Raul Menon turned $275 into $3,300 on DK. Shout out. Donald Carus won $4,200 on just over $100 worth of entries. I'm not going to apologize for yelling at Tambo on the show. I'm not going to do it because he wasn't listening. And how I yell at you and don't apologize when you're not listening to me? Yeah. He wasn't listening. He gets yelled at. He did have his second top 20 finish in the Million Maker, though, this year. So shout out to Tambo. He won $3K on that one lineup in the Millie. He came 16th.
He's got a win in 2 T20s?
He didn't win the Millie.
A couple years ago, didn't he win?
No, he didn't. He's won a whole bunch, but he hasn't won the Millionaire Maker. F30 won a seat into the Fantasy Golf World Championship. Viewers of the show have like 20 seats in the fantasy. I hope one of them wins. That's good for $6,500.
They send you out there to host it.
There is no event. They really should. That would be the perfect tie-in. It really should be.
It's not fair.
I'll have it
Everyone
here.
loses.
Everyone can just like come here if you're in it.
Yeah,
like
don't
we'll
they
watch
do
it
the
together.
hockey ones at Real Sports?
Yeah.
I think this year they did it in Washington.
Maybe. I went to the one that was at Real Sports in Toronto. I hate hockey. It's when I hung out with people. Drewby was there, and so was Sam, so I just caught up with them. Paul Forit Shebeck won $7,500. Min Cash Brigade, no longer a part of the Min Cash Brigade because he won $13,400. But the big winner, Johnny Mac, won himself $20,000 this weekend. That's pretty good. A lot of winners.
My buddy won 4 second place, Captain Wendell, for great Wendell Clark. Came second in the $10 like 50K resurgence weekend.
Oh, sweet.
The Justin Thomas triple
Just killed him.
just killed him. And when you're not tracking it because you have no idea and you're just waiting, like, things are bad. And you're like just you're hoping for the par to show up on the app. You see the 7?
Just
Death. But it's still a 4.
You get the Charles Nelson Riley on the go.
Still a nice little second place.
Yeah, not a bad
4K.
Listen, I would have taken it.
4K. US dollars.
I only lost half my buy-ins this week on DraftKings, which makes it my most successful major of the year. Not great year. So become a member at fantasynational.com. We still have a month left of this season, and the new season starts up right away. But if you get a monthly right now, it basically brings you to the end of the FedEx Cup playoffs. So I highly recommend that because, listen, it doesn't matter if it's the Barbasol, it doesn't matter if it's the Open Championship, a WGC, the Tour Championship, or the Barracuda. There's money to be won.
Yeah, no, even the events, like a joke that this is glorified swing season. Like, can we have a bye week?
Yeah,
There's still going to be a winner, and I'm probably going to assume like someone at like 200 to 1 cash.
Yeah, and that's really when Fantasy National comes into play in those events. Like, it's tough at a WGC when all the best players are there. It's okay.
And the no cut. It's really, it's harder. These are my least favorite, like exponentially. Outside of, I guess, like Tour Championships.
Tour Championships the worst.
Play. But like the duplicate lineups in fields like this, it just...
Yeah, I'll talk to Raza tomorrow about some strategy behind this.
What do you leave, like 2K on the table?
I wouldn't say 2K. I mean, I got to look at all the pricing.
You're going to roster Mikumu,
Well, we're not there yet.
Horikawa?
Stop spoiling the show. And you're not even looking at, did you say Morikawa?
Mikumu Horikawa.
A Horikawa. I thought you said. I thought you were talking about the Barracuda.
Oh no.
Where he is the favorite at that. We'll get to that in a bit.
He is.
If you want to join the Pat Mayo Experience Listeners League, you can find it in the description of the podcast or up on my Facebook page, facebook.com/thepme. If you hit the comment section for this video, you'll find a link to find it. But we cannot post it on YouTube anymore in fear of being banned for life. We don't want to do that. You ready to talk WGC?
Yeah, just looking for one guy.
TPC Southwind. An event has been held in Memphis every year since 1958. And Southwind is where they usually play the St. Jude Classic. It has been upgraded, Jeff, from regular tour event to WGC on the back of FedEx being local. 7,237 yards, par 70, Bermuda greens, 64 players in the field. There is no cut. There was 20 eagles on the two par 5s over the course of last year, but this field is obviously a lot better this time around with the top-end talent. But although it's a par 70 and 7,235 or 37 yards, it actually plays significantly longer. Valspar is another one that does this too. I believe that's a par 71, but like par adjusted length, it's very, very long. Like 7 of the par 4s this week are over 450 yards. So it's very interesting where it seems like it's a short course, and we've seen some shorter players play really well here in the past that you can bomb and gouge this place. The fairways are really narrow, but they don't really, maybe they change the conditions, but usually the rough isn't up all that much, and there's a lot of water that you can go into.
So once upon a time, again, to go in like the time machine before Brooks was like God, we'd come to a place like this.
He was second here 2 years ago.
But we'd be worried there are too many like landmines for Brooks. Just throwing that out there. I recall this place just being a party, a birdie party.
It's not, though. It was the 11th most difficult course on tour last season. Like, Dustin ripped it up last year.
So maybe that's sort of a
He won by 6. He had the
big hole at the walk-off,
Yeah, he had
right?
the walk-off on the 72nd hole. Like, Putnam came second.
Oh, he's playing well.
Yeah, he's also like 50 to 1 in this field somehow.
Well,
Putnam has better odds than like really good players this week because of that course history, which is unfortunate.
And his current form.
Yeah, his current form is excellent. But, you know, when he's the same odds, when Andrew Putnam is half the odds of Keegan, like, Keegan's better than Andrew Putnam. I hate to tell you. Not to say that Putnam can't win, but like, if you're going to give one off at 50 and one off at 100, I'll take the guy who's 100 who's the better player. Like, wouldn't you?
Yeah, even
not that I'm picking either of them, but
even to go farther back, I'd rather bet like Kisner.
Kisner, yeah. Kisner's actually quite interesting this week. But I wrote it up in my articles. You can check this out on dkplaybook.com. But ball striking is super key. Approach is far more influential to at least the top 10 finishers than off the tee. But over the past 6 years, 5 of the winners have finished inside the top 15 and off the tee for the week. And basically, anyone who's in top 5 in approach is going to come close. Even the year that Fabian Gomez won like 500 to 1 3 years ago. He had a great putting week, but he also had a fantastic iron week.
So that says one thing to me.
What? Irons?
That we can't get burned by Justin's putter.
I mean, you can get burned by Justin's putter. You can always get burned by Justin's putter. That can happen. But
Less likely.
But Bermuda greens, we're back on Bermuda greens, and that has historically been the putting surface which Justin Thomas does prefer the most. Let's get into the odds, the faves at the very top here. We got the big three this week because we are not. Who are we missing here? We're missing
Tiger.
No, inside the top.
Ricky, what do you want?
I guess it is Tiger, yeah, because Rose is inside the top 5 in the world rankings, isn't he?
Rom's here. Who are we missing? Ricky and Tiger.
Ricky and Tiger. Molinari not here also. Dustin's 8 to 1.
It?
Dustin's 8 to 1. I have him as the defending champion because he won this course last year.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the actual defending champion.
Oh, I've read people are calling like the Bridgestone.
Yeah, people are saying Justin Thomas is the defending champion, which he's not.
Work
DJ
like that.
is.
Doesn't work like that.
Brooks is 9, Rory's 10, John Rahm is 12, JT is now down to 16. He opened at 20 to 1. He's down to 16 already, so that's never any fun. From this range, I like JT the best, but I don't think I'm going to bite at 16.
I bid at 18.
Okay. I listen. I wrote him up. I think I'll play him on DraftKings. I just don't want to. If I miss him at 16.
As I said, there are few tournaments left, and I've got X amount of winners, so I'm trying to fill slots. Small card because those winners, it's time to fill them. That's how I look at it. It's a shame there's no Daniel Berger exemption.
He should just be like grandfathered into this event.
Yeah, he won it. What, 2 years in a row? His only wins.
Two years in a row. Yeah, his only wins on tour. Do you worry about the guys? A, either that played in the British Open that are coming over, or B, made the cut at the British Open and are coming back over? Because you have guys like Bryson, guys like Rory. Who else is on this list that would have missed? Scott, Hideki, Day. Like, they could have flown back. Yes. They could have flown back Friday night.
As we'll get to it when we cross over there. I might give an extra check mark, even doing the cut sweat. I've like cuts out of the bag. Feel like everyone's on Bryson. I don't know if that's my fault. I hope not.
Yeah. Last time Bryson was the consensus pick, he came second and broke all of our hearts. I'll throw some.
But I do but Shez, off the US Open
won, yeah.
Contended, was kind of in it.
I'd say this is a bit different though.
Yeah, it's an overseas flight. There's a lot more
customs.
It's a Lynx golf, like as much as Pebble was,
and you have guys like, let's see, Rory, Rahm, Thomas, Rose, Stenson, like all of those guys from the very top have been over there for a bit too.
Yeah, Fleetwood.
Like they've been playing Euro golf for the past 3 weeks instead of being over here. So I don't know how, I really don't know how that affects.
Even guys like farther back, like Reed's been over there, Kisner's been over there playing the Irish or the Scot. Yeah, so guys, Putnam's been in great form over there. Kuchar, a whole consortium have been over there. Are we looking at a guy? Okay, under 20 to me, it's really only Justin, and I've bet it.
Yeah, I would say my favorite play. I mean, I like Justin Thomas because I think that he is trending very close to a victory. I mean, even overseas, he was 9th at the Scottish. He was 11th at the British Open. The guy still can't make a fucking 4-foot putt. Maybe that will eventually flip for him.
As I've alluded, as I've teased many times, my capping is normally not very scientific, but it's now exponentially less scientific when, as I've said, I've got guys that I know are going to win. By no, I don't know anything. But there's only like a finite amount of tournaments left, and those slots have to cross. So that's how I bet.
Crossing swords with your guys?
Yeah, unless like really smart people like can point me into something that their models are showing. I have a feeling for how I want to play out these last few weeks.
Dustin at 8 to 1. I don't want to bet him at 8 to 1, but
hey, he's had shitty Britishes and won the next week.
That's what I'm saying.
Although he missed the cut
last year and came back,
and he was like motivated for the Canada and the Glen Abbey was like a perfect fit.
Yeah, he's the honorary Canadian in the field. The only Canadian who can win, I guess, outside of Corey Connors.
Yeah, listen, Dustin Brooks, to me, they always deserve to be.
Yeah, and Rory too.
Yeah,
I mean, Rory won the Canadian Open this year. He won the Players this year, so he's won at 2 shorter courses, par 71 and par 70s.
I worry
That he might just be burnt out.
Not burnt out, because I think he could like win the tour championship and still like make it all.
Yeah.
All the monies. But almost as like the part of like, let's blindly pick on Lowry. I think Rory, for the complete opposite, like might be a guy I just kind of.
It's so scary picking on Rory.
No, not picking on him. I wouldn't want to do it like that, but I feel like.
And dude, he's pretty ripped. Check out his feed. Just scroll down.
I feel like he has a lot of like, just like Lowry has baggage from the win. I think Rory could be carrying like some baggage from the lot. Like that hit him hard.
Yeah. Oh no.
Like
I
almost
agree.
like he.
But they could work one of
Both-
two
both
ways.
ways.
It could be work on the, hey, let's get back on the horse
Yeah.
and go win this WGC.
Yes, or you could see him like 1 over early on
Yeah,
Thursday,
just,
and he like looks like his dog is still dead.
I think that the effort that he put forward to try to like storm and make the cut on Friday, I think puts him in a positive place. That'd just be
Yes.
my opinion.
Yeah, no. And
If he had
he's-
gone the other way and he ended up like +5 again,
yeah, and
like,
it
you'd be
was,
like, "Ugh."
and listen, he didn't win, but the goal of showing off that part of the country.
Also, that course is fucking beautiful.
Yeah, no, that's
It looked great on TV.
That's just what I'm getting at. Just the whole thing. It was the fact that an Irishman won. It wasn't him. It wasn't Graham. The whole week was a resounding success. I don't think Monday morning, with how it ended, people are lamenting Rory missing the cut.
No, because of how it ended.
Yes. So it's probably easier to get over. Him and Lowry go way back. It could be these things that are hyper motivating. They all three of them deserve to be at the top. If I had to bet one, I'm always like that hamster looking at Dustin. But
Yeah. I'm going to pass on this entire range. So if we go 20 to 50, the next range, we got guys like Xander at 20, Cantlay and Fleetwood, and Rose at 22. Rose is cuss one and done this week, by the way. J-Row, cool man J-Row, 22 to 1. Stenson's at 25.
imagine.
Then you got Spieth and Scott and Day at 30. DeChambeau and Hideki and Finau and Cooch all at 33. Reed, Louis, Casey, Webb at 40 to 1. That's where the cutoff is. I have 2 bets in this range. Like you, I have bet Mr. Bryson DeChambeau, and I don't feel great about it now that the world is on it, and this is not on Bentgrass, his preferred winning surface over the years. I also bet Hideki. So there's a couple guys in this range that when we look at them, you have to consider the type of format that we're in. A WGC, there is no cut, and they're going to have all these rounds. Xander has proven he is a guy who can win a no-cut event, likes a no-cut event. Justin Thomas is another one. Really enjoys himself in no-cut event, as does Hideki. Hideki also plays really well at no-cut events. And Hideki, outside of last week, like, he's crushing it right now.
Crushing
And
it.
we kind of forgot about it. And these are the same odds that we're getting all the time.
Crushing it. Crushing it.
And it's not like he had to
playing
stick
well.
around and play the
No.
weekend.
And it's always nice. I didn't end up betting Hideki last week, so there was I didn't hit a winner regardless, but there was peace of mind when his Friday went backwards, at least for me, because he's always a guy that I think about. And I love Hideki, like, in this. I never want a part of him when they make him like 16 or 18, but you cross him over 30, he always has my attention. Doesn't really bring the win equity that I want, but I would like him. Him and Xander are guys that I would be thinking about. I've already bet on Bryson. I think Xander is a killer. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder now. I think he's fresh and ready to go. He is a player who I have pegged for one of these end of season wins.
Yeah, I mean, he's already won the tour championship. So
So I think everything coming up sets up well for him. 20 is shorter than I had hoped. I have seen some 22s, not really a big difference.
Is this a week to, now that he actually is playing for consecutive weeks for the first time in like 25 years, and he killed everyone last week, we're now getting Adam Scott at 30 to 1?
Yeah, essentially the same number he went off at last week, a favorite of many people. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm shocked, as I joked on Twitter. I can't believe he finds like Memphis acceptable enough for his like body to walk through.
If they do grow at the rough, and I don't have any inside information on this, and I will probably see it throughout the week with people from around there. Stenson would become somewhat intriguing just because he's striking the he and JT are basically in the same boat right now. they're both striking it really well and can't make a putt. But I think like I said, I'm in on Hideki and Bryson. I worry that everyone's just in on Bryson, so there's no chance I can ever come through. So I'll take Hideki at the same one. Scott would be the other one I would consider, but I'm trying to keep it small this week. I like those two guys. That's where I'm starting.
I like Hideki more than Scott.
So do I. That's why I instantly went to him.
And I know it might be a weird thing to say, but I actually feel I trust. Yeah, I don't know. I like Hideki more to actually win, than Scott. Scott can come close, but I don't feel it with him. Patrick Reed at 40. No worried. There's just been a lot of golf maybe played. There could be some tracks coming up, though, in that FedEx Cup.
Well, Wyndham next week, too, if he decides to play. He's won there before. Donald Ross course.
Is the speed number they're still posting it way shorter than it probably
should. I mean, I just, who's betting Jordan Speed at these odds? I assume the public is, but no,
there might be someone.
No one I know that knows anything about golf. And really, who knows anything about golf, especially when it comes to prognostication?
Well, look at even the thing, the Jim Herman last 30 starts tracker. It's miscut, 70th miscut, 60th miscut,
win.
50th win. What? To pretend we have a clue? It's such a weird, fun game that we all certainly love.
Cantlay is intriguing. I just don't want the 22. And it's Finau's intriguing.
Yeah, last time, you had those vibes about Cantlay. He won Memorial. Sure. I'm not afraid of him against a strong field.
Yeah, no, listen.
Cantlay's
a class player. He could definitely win.
I would probably rather Cantlay than Fleetwood.
This week, yes.
Yes. Here. I would probably rather Xander than both of them.
I think Xander versus Cantlay is a really interesting argument. I'm not going to bet either, but if it comes down to a DraftKings decision, probably end up going Xander. I just like the success that he's had in these no-cut events. I've seen him do it.
Yeah, I worry about if you mentioned he was sick on the weekend, but I don't know, having a driver that he likes, wanting to screw, just give big middle fingers. Because I think there was a brand, I don't know. It seemed like he also got into a pissing match with a different manufacturer.
I don't know. These things don't really concern me, so I don't pay attention to them.
Give me one last look through that range.
Casey
Kuchar's
Webb,
been playing a lot of golf overseas.
Yeah, it is back on Bermuda, which is good for Kuchar, but it's not a coastal course, so I'm usually
we stopped at 50.
Yeah,
I don't have anything to say about Louis. We're in America, but
we're in America. Webb,
a guy like Xander, a lot of these guys have played golf overseas for a few weeks. He could be fresh and ready to pop. I'm not betting it.
What did Webb even do last week? Did he make the cut? He did make.
He finished 30th. Even. He had a bad Sunday. A lot of guys had a really bad Sunday. I think he went to Sunday -3 and then shot 3 or 4 over. He had a bad finish to his Sunday.
Webb's kind of interesting here, actually, at 40-1. Now that I look at what he's been up to, he's gaining off the tee a bunch, and that's just even last year when he was going through his hot streak, because the putter had come around, he wasn't gaining strokes off the tee. And we know shorter hitters can win here, and he's just crushing it with approaches recently, and he's back on Bermuda, which is really his preferred putting surface. I'm gonna put a little star next to his name when I release my cheat sheet on Wednesday. It might have Webb Simpson's name on it, unless I go to one of these guys below. You want to talk the rest of the guys?
Yeah, there's someone over 50 I could talk about.
I have 2 guys from the very bottom that I think are probably better T20 bets. That doesn't mean I'm not going to throw $5 on there each way, but there were 2 guys in particular. I really
really low.
Really, really low. But there's one guy in particular I wanted to point out that when I went back and looked at because course history here is really odd because you don't get a lot of the very, very top end guys that come to this course very often. Dustin plays it a bunch, Brooks plays it a bunch. Phil plays it a bunch. Then it's Billy Ho and JB Holmes. They're the other good guys who have played this more than twice in the past 5 years. But when you go and look, Shez is another one who plays this course a lot. But if you go and look at the players that have had success at this course, and you look at where else they have success, Travelers really popped up for me.
Here we go.
And I just saw Bubba Watson at, what is he, 100-1? He doesn't play here.
Tell me, whisper it. You're the whisperer.
But the thing is, we don't
whisper to us.
Usually, you can see the Bubba track coming because he's had a lot of success at these courses over the years. He just never played. He doesn't play this course, so I don't know. But on paper, he's 100.
It's been a weird year. Didn't he finish second at Valspar?
He did, and he finished 4th at Valspar. And I think this does correlate a little bit to Valspar too. But he's not having a good year, although of course, he made the cut at the British Open after everyone bet him to not make the cut. But,
I think people got crushed in some head-to-heads.
But I just think it's a very intriguing track. If off the tee it's not as valuable as approach clearly, but you do need to finish very high up in the off the tee department. You know that he's going to do that. Like, again, Andrew Putnam's 55 to 1, Bubba Watson's 100 to 1.
Yeah, Matthew Wolf's 90.
Well, of course he is. He's also in the WGC, and Hovland's not. Because poor Hovland, as soon as he becomes uncursed, I'm telling you, Rob McIntyre, not friend of the show, Rob McIntyre, Bobby Mack the golfer, that's going to be Tim's new guy. Tim being a lefty, and now there's a young lefty he can get behind.
Who's just like a big brick shithouse type kid.
Yeah, he's like bigger Ted Potter Jr. is his like body type. Tim's going to be all in on that guy soon. And when Tim jumps off the Hovland bandwagon, Hovland's going to get a win. We know this. Yeah, other than that, like, you could see, like, the Horschels and the Willets. That feels like such a dead range to me.
Yeah, it kind of does. I don't know. I mean, Danny feels like on courses that can work for him, he feels like we got to just play him. Because, like, his game is like...
Danny's close.
Yeah, I mean, you say close. I say, like, it's there. Like, I'm not talking about winning this week. I mean, the guy that he was is almost back. The courses he can have success at, it seems like he's having success at
would be one of them,
consistently. And he even has a win in the calendar year. Like, that was a very strong field Euro event with a lot of the big Americans.
Yeah.
That came over for that one. So I'm almost ready to say, like, he is a bona fide normal golfer again.
Yeah.
Who will have his spot.
He's a top 50 golfer again.
Love it.
Yeah, me too. Like, he's better than Hatton now. But no, I was just curious about Bubba, just based on different things that I looked at. I was like, it's a really deep odds for Bubba.
Okay.
And then I got my two guys from the very back end. I think that Hama and Connors is
like 210s.
Connors is 250 to 1. Hama is 275 to 1. I did put $5 on them both on the each way, but I'll probably bet them top 20 in first round leader. I just think that when you look at ball striking, distance, plus approach, both those guys have it. We know they're disastrous putters. We know this stuff. But maybe, listen, they both won on tour already this year. If you just think that they can compete a little bit, as long as they don't bury themselves on the greens, they should be somewhat competitive here, I think. I like them more than the Keith Mitchells or the Justin Hardings or like these random Nate Lashleys, Kevin Tway, JB Holmes, or even like the random like Poom, shake the room coming in. There's like 8 Asian tour players in the field. Like, you don't need to be concerned about them. But where their odds are so deep to begin with, and I don't know if this will be adjusted in the top 20 market or not, because those odds haven't come out yet, but you might be able to rook like a 12 to 1, 14 to 1 top 20 on those guys. And, what has a better chance of happening? And maybe you can answer this for me. If Justin Thomas is 16 to 1 to win, or you can bet Max Hama or Corey Connors 14 to 1 to be top 20, I think the top 20 bets are the better bets, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, in a 64-man field, if you're telling me to cross out 8 Asians.
I wouldn't say you can put one of those guys into the top 20. I don't know which one it's going to be, but say let's give them one.
I mean, no, I hear you.
It's probably boom.
Let's not forget, according to Tim, all Asian golfers are Hideki.
That was awesome. It was just like the time that he told me, he's like, yeah, I love Siwoo Kim. We watched Siwoo Kim play in Phoenix. I was like, that was Ben Ann, man. Tim doesn't know. Gets very confused.
Confused like the people he walks with. Kevin Kisner, you'd mentioned, is somebody that...
I just like he's playing okay. I don't really love the odds there, but if it's another like Travelers type situation, get him on Bermuda. He tends to play better on Bermuda. But like Kuchar, he plays a lot better on like Bermuda Coastal. Hao Tong was the other one.
Just because so like hit and miss.
Hao Tong is just really good. That 110 to 1, you could take a flyer, and he's competed in these I don't mean competed like he was in the field for these WGCs. He's been good at WGCs.
Yeah. He's a guy.
Here's a guy. He's not like John Gruden.
I will say this about Hao Tong Lee. Because you've seen
that he's actually Hideki Matsuyama.
Other than that, if it is Hao Tong Lee versus Rory on Sunday, like, he doesn't seem to be afraid of that, and he's conquered that before.
Yeah, he don't care.
So that's...
He ran down Dustin in Abu Dhabi.
So that's something that is always important for me to make an outright bet.
Like, I don't
get me wrong, I'll bet a lot of losers, but another guy, maybe we should just not talk about him, actually.
Oh, tell me. Tell me all about him.
I just am curious.
Hama is interesting for me, too, because he was not over there last week. He's been stateside, where mostly everyone in this field played, except for like him and Wolf are the two. Like Cabrera Bayos finished well at this course before. I bet you.
Listen,
I bet you no one uses him on DraftKings after last week.
Yeah.
Him and Leishman.
I mean, he'd been I don't know what to make of that because it's essentially the same number a lot of people could have bet him at last week. But
I bet him at last week.
That was a course fit and a situational fit that people probably, popped as opposed to this. Would I be crazy? I don't want to do it. Just Woodland's played twice. He missed the cut in Minnesota with a Friday charge, and obviously got Ander cursed coming home.
That was the very. If people didn't watch the live, you got to be watching these live Cut Sweat shows. Gary Woodland has figured out his putting. There's no way that he's going to miss this 2-foot putt. Miss the cut. Listen, Woodland has paid himself off for life.
Yeah,
for
I should just stop and just be happy for him. It's probably the prudent move.
I think he's still on victory lap time here.
Yeah. People were seeing him Wednesday at the pubs.
Should we talk about Shane Lowry 60-1? And you it was add-on, and you both brought up a good point. This is a week to really target him in head-to-heads. But then Paul brought up a good point, is that he's Irish.
Yeah.
And he's probably played a lot of rounds real hungover in the past.
If there's any type that could really let loose.
Yeah, you want Burley.
And be back on the
Irish.
first tee, just ready to go.
Yeah, when Pepperell played that round at the British hungover. And he was I shot -5. It was great. Yeah, the Brits and the booze, they can play.
There's a lot of questions out there if he's even going to play.
Well, you want to find the guy who shows up to hit his one shot, gets his guguaranteed money, and takes off. That's the guy that
the books might be hesitant on posting matchups. But again, I don't know, guys that have won have not played poorly after winning. They don't necessarily win or contend again, but they seem to hold themselves up just fine.
Any love for Phil?
No.
He plays well. He plays well at this course. He's one of the few.
No love for Phil. And the dream is that Phil won't be on the President's Cup team, right? There's no way.
I don't think so.
So that's gonna end.
Unless Tiger picks him just to stick it to him.
Oh yeah, fly to Australia, pal.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna sit you in max sessions.
Turns out they're not really friends.
Yeah.
Although I would who's doing it? NBC's doing the President's Cup?
Yeah.
If Phil's not on the team, hire Phil to do your covers because Paul Azinger is an absolute disaster.
They couldn't pay.
You know who was great when Graham McDowell came on? After he had missed the cut and was just kind of talking, he should be on TV. I know he's so competitive as a golfer, but get him on the broadcast if he's not in the field. He's great, and Azinger is trash.
Yeah.
Not that I was a big Johnny Miller fan, but if you're gonna get the guy to come in to replace Johnny Miller, he's such an icon on that set. And although he was just the most negative guy of all time, Azinger just doesn't seem like he has a clue.
Yeah. No, he's very not a part of it. There's also no way Tiger probably shouldn't pick himself for the team either.
I agree. Although it's gonna be very warm. So we've learned to fade Tiger in not super hot conditions. It's gonna be spicy.
I did
in
Tiger's, post Friday press conference, essentially acknowledging he needs a vacation from all of his vacations.
Yeah, that's tough. I'm on board with that. When I brought the baby to go visit at home, it took me 3 days to be I need to chill out here. This was
yeah,
awful.
no, I get it.
Is this what happens when you've had kids longer than I have?
Vacations
Is this
suck.
what happened?
Yeah,
You're just worn out by the end of a vacation?
Yeah, they're the worst.
I'm thinking about flying my mom up once the baby gets old enough. She can stay at my place to watch the kid. My wife and I will go on vacation.
That's
I feel that's got to be the move.
5-star move. I don't got anything else. Barracuda.
I pulled up the Barracuda odds here. Barracuda.
My
oh,
biggest.
We have this is the best musical interlude week of the year. You have Barracuda, but you also have Walking in Memphis. They'll play that on the broadcast if they can obtain the rights. We can't here, so I can't sing too many of the words.
No, and this
Golfing in Memphis. No, Weird Al.
These WGCs, the players get the sweetest, little gift bags.
Oh, it's not I learned this when I played Hazeltine a few weeks back that because the LPGA US Open was there.
Yeah.
They billet people for the LPGA? It's junior hockey. Even the stars, they can either get their own hotel, but members of the course they go to have to put up some LPGA golfer, live at their house. So a whole bunch of people had all these Korean ladies come over and they had them, their team, and their translator all living with them. It's nuts. It's not like the prize pools are small for those events either.
No, it's not like it's WNBA money.
No.
They make like...
When you got Jung Hyung Wang 6 winning stuff.
I mean, they don't make tennis money, but they make pretty freaking good money, the ladies.
They make better than web.com money, I would think. Do they make Sonor money? What's a higher prize pool? The Champions Tour or the LPGA Tour? I don't know. I don't pay attention to either of them, so I actually don't know. But
what do you think is?
Probably Champions.
Yeah.
It had.
Although the LPGA has some pretty powerful like corporate sponsorships.
Agreed, but the stuff that you see on the Champions Tour, like no matter how like hot the I don't mean like physically, but like no matter how much traction the LPGA ever picks up, when it gets to the point you can be like, and it's not so much right now, but like, hey, John Daly's playing. Like that's good to sell a whole bunch of tickets.
No, there will be a time
when
like Tiger is out there and Phil is out there. Yeah, and there's no doubt you anticipate the guys getting able to get there.
And the crossover of audience, like if I grew up being like a Stricker guy or a Monty guy or a Langer guy like 25 years ago, now I'm 60. Yeah. Like jets up and like the type of branding and the money that would go along with old rich dudes who like watching old golfers play. I think that it would be different. I could be way off.
Could be, but I don't know. It's the Evian. Brooke Henderson's the favorite this week. But yeah, Longer on the Senior. He's not winning trophies anymore. It was Stricker and Jerry Kelly in town.
David Toms?
Yeah.
Get some Tom. What happened to McCarron? It doesn't look like he's playing. How is he not in the Senior Open?
I don't know.
Hasn't he won like 8 times this year? You're like, screw this, I'm not leaving the States. Anyway, Barracuda. Morikawa is the favorite. What did you have him at? When you looked?
I saw 14.
I had 10-1 here. 10-1. It's him, Keimer, Laird, Berger, Griot, Henley, Straka, Palmer, Tringali, Bill Haas.
It's DraftKings scoring.
Yeah, it's Stableford scoring. This should be the DraftKings Open. I say this every single year. Instead of using stupid Stableford scoring, DraftKings... I'm not saying pay me less. In fact, you can pay me more and I'll go host the event out there. We'll do the show live in Reno. It'll be fun. But just DraftKings Open, DraftKings scoring, boom. It would be amazing. So those are all the guys. Bill Haas coming off a pretty good week. Steele's 40 on this one. I like Vegas and Steele. I just want guys who can bomb it, make some birdies, potentially some eagles. Steele has a really good track record here, and he's actually started to play a lot better. So Vegas and Steele for me at the Barracuda. And maybe I'll give a look to someone deep down the list, but at this moment, I do not have that guy. Maybe Svensson?
I haven't looked at it yet. What's Berger?
How's your burger? 20. That's not great.
No. Grillo?
22.
I don't know.
I kind of just hope Morikawa wins, but that's me. He's very good.
I remember my biggest Barracuda memory was when Woodland couldn't outduel Surge.
No, Super Nintendo Chalmers. Yeah, that was rough. That's when we almost like gave up on Woodland.
Yeah, I think the next day I said I'm never betting Gary Woodland again. Ever.
It's a good thing you did.
Ever. But I don't know. It's fun. It's a silly event.
Yeah, it would be fun to like to switch on and off. There'll be a lot of good coverage for WGC too. They generally show it T to T on Golf Channel just because they can. I don't know why that is. They must have a separate agreement with WGCs over the PGA. Not quite sure.
Let's bring up who I've used in that one and done.
All right, you ready for this? You ready to do this?
Yeah.
Quick picks for the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational. For me, I'm starting it pretty lightly, to tell you the truth. Then I'll have my cheat sheet released on Wednesday on my Facebook page, facebook.com/thepme, the same place you can enter the Pat Mayo Experience Listeners League. You find the link up there, as you can in the Pat Mayo Experience description of the podcast. Boom, you get in there. It's still the best contest on DraftKings. Bryson, Hideki, 33-1. I'm going to look at Webb. I'm going to look at Bubba. They are not on as of yet. And then at the very bottom, I'll play them first round leader, top 20, and a very mini play on the top 5 and the win. Max Homa at 275-1. And El Canadien, or Le Canadien, Corey Connors, 250-1. That's me.
All right. For me, I've bet Justin at 18, and I've bet Bryson at 33. Guys I'm looking at are Hideki, Xander, and Cantley. I'm probably going to take one of those. Could be a 3-4 man little card here.
And for the
Pretty much the players I've picked to win the
Yeah.
tournaments that are.
And for the Barracuda, I'm going to go with Vegas and Steel 35 and 40 to 1.
Vegas is 40?
No, Vegas is 35. So maybe I'll just play some doubles. I'll play Hideki and Bryson. I'll play Vegas and Steel, double them together.
They get like 8
And
points for Eagles, right?
Yeah,
Is that what it is?
I don't know if it's that.
like
That's
5 or something?
DraftKings scoring is 8 points for Eagles. I believe it's 5 for an Eagle, 3 for a birdie, 1 for a par, -2 for a bogey or something. I don't know what it is. Say it's something stupid. Anyway, you want guys who make birdies.
Yeah.
Guys who can bomb it, potentially make Eagles.
And there's like short par 4s there too.
And it's
And it's the elevation.
It's elevation
Yeah.
in Reno, yeah. One and done picks of the week.
Xander.
Xander Schauffele for you. Tim is taking Justin Rose, and I am taking Hideki Matsuyama, which means I get 25 guys in the field according to Tim. That'll do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Coming up this week on the show, I got Raza on Tuesday. The UFC is on Thursday. Wednesday, I release my top 200 rankings.
Oh, it's time.
It's time. I've already recorded it.
Before August?
Garion in studio. Tim on the line. French accents, crazy takes. Tim refusing to make a bet because he doesn't want to be bullied into it. And then Friday, Tim is back on with Sammy Reed. Quentin Tarantino movie power rankings.
How high did he end up putting Robbie Anderson?
Well, he doesn't do rankings. They just comment on my ranks. I actually have Robbie Anderson like 25 at wide receiver, so I actually
That's
kinda
pretty
like
high.
him. I kind of like him. So that's me.
Yeah, you should like him.
Get in the Listeners League, do that. Become a member at Fantasy National, do that. Follow Jeff on Twitter at GFienberg17 and troll him because he'll get very upset.
No.
about it.
Yeah, you should see the stuff I don't
Don't make
respond
me
to.
reverse backhand you, Jeff.
You should see the stuff I don't respond to. It's only the worst.
Yeah, I don't respond to any of it.
And then I
I just straight up mute people.
See,
If someone says a thing I don't like to me, they insta mute.
See,
I don't log on to Twitter to like be mad all the time.
Do you want to know what else I got today?
What?
Because I'm a Chargers fan, I can have no opinion on
On the chefs?
on a grown. The guy deleted his tweet, by the way. I can have no opinion on a grown man beating a child. It's out of bounds for me
Because you're a Chargers fan.
because I'm a Charger fan.
Okay.
Think you're wildly misinformed on this. The DA never said he hit his child, and the full tape exonerates him. I just hate seeing a black man's name dragged through the mud by a drug-dependent Canadian Chargers fan.
Ouch. Shots fired. Didn't he also like punch
Don't
his
worry.
pregnant Didn't he punch his pregnant girlfriend when he was in college?
Yeah. Don't worry.
Great guy though.
I
Thanks.
actually responded with a pat nomenclature, if I use that properly. I
Oh.
said, give your head a shake,
Wow.
pal.
Stole that from Murdoch Mayo, my grandfather. He also says things like Callum. The wind, pretty Callum out there. Anyway, that's aggressive.
Yeah, I think he read it again and deleted it, but it still sits in my feed.
There you go. All right. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at the PME. Giveaways to be had for everyone out there. Check out all the work up on dkplaybook.com. I think that's basically it. Thanks, everyone, for sitting through this with us. Good luck at the WGC, at the Barracuda. I'm turning the fucking cam here. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!